Hi, my name is Judy Ryan, and I'm the CEO of Lifework Systems. We have been in business since 2002. So we've been around the block a few times, and we are loving what we are doing and bringing to many, many people. I am here to answer the question today, what kind of culture is healthiest? And why?
People are your greatest asset. And when you have a workplace culture that's excellent, it helps you to overcome a lot of challenges that are part of our world today. For example, we have such speed of change now. Things that used to take years or months can take a day or a week. And so people are scrambling to understand things like robotics or artificial intelligence or digital transformation or globalization. So there's a lot of complexity that people are dealing with, and they need to have what's called agile behavior to go with that set of speedy technologies that are coming in right now. The other thing is that we have a lot of diversity issues that are just up for all of us, maybe because we're so global now in our communications, but there's a lot of diversity where people are still at odds with each other over religion or politics or genderism, or even the intergenerational is a big deal. And also people are not necessarily staying fully engaged in their lives. A lot of them are shutting down. And in fact, the statistics show that 71% of people are shutting down either in a big way or a smaller way, and that it costs organizations over $1 million for every 100 people if they don't get that in order. And also, people are struggling with, how do I stay ahead of the competition? How do I stay relevant? For example, out of all of the Fortune 500 companies in 1955, only 26 of them have survived to today. So it's a big deal to be paying attention to what's coming next. And there's also the issues of how do we deal with, all the negative behavior that is very evident and kind of in our faces right now. And what are the costs to us as human beings when we're not managing stress and we're not managing our wellness? So those are some of the reasons, is those goals and those challenges that we're facing right now, we have to have excellent people. One of the challenges I have as a performance management specialist and a culture specialist is people really understanding what is wrong, what's the problem? Why don't we have extraordinary workplaces we have been using for centuries? It's time to dismantle those. And people are uncomfortable with the thought of dismantling them because they are not sure what they would put in place instead. And they become afraid of, well, what if what I've been doing is now outdated? Does that make me outdated? Does that make me irrelevant?
So the first kinds of culture that I want to talk about are the kinds of culture that are driven by control as the priority. Profitability is more important than people. People are kind of treated in a transactional, almost dehumanized way. There's always hierarchy and a use of power over and power under dynamics, win-lose. There's a high emphasis on external motivation and just getting people to do what I said. If they just comply, that's best I can expect.
Once there's a willingness to look and question the outdatedness of some of those models, then it's important to know what to put into the vacuum, what to replace them with, so that you don't fall back on what you've always known.
What do we transform into? In a responsibility-based culture, relationships are everything. And the power is being celebrated, and it's being recognized, it's being guided, and it's being shared. And people are being developed from the inside out, and no one's settling for compliance. We're going for the big result, which is commitment.
And I think for many executives and managers, they still hold this mindset that we only have to invest in developing our senior team and our mid-level managers and our supervisors. And the reality is that's like saying, oh, we'll just give cell phones to the top people. And it's really not necessarily a good idea. But a lot of times people haven't wrapped their head around the fact that you can equip everyone. With today's technology and the ability of people to do things virtually, it's affordable and it's very convenient for people to all be developed at the same time. It takes a very strong positive ego to be an effective leader that develops other leaders and that can move forward without clinging to old ways of doing things. The last thing that I want to say is that when you have an extraordinary workplace culture, what you've done is you've created this supportive system so that the managers are freed up to run the productivity and meet the objectives of the business, because all of the employees are part of supporting a culture of excellence.
The system you want to create is a responsibility-based system where there's tons of freedom, but people also know how to take responsibility for managing their relationships, managing their own productivity, managing their own sense of engagement. And it's also about really helping create the conditions where everybody wants to contribute, everybody wants to support each other. That is what happens when you build a shared power, purpose and value-based, responsibility-based. I'm here to talk about the importance of an effective implementation when you're going about a culture change. Now, we have built an implementation process that's based on the best practices from education. What allows people to learn and absorb and retain and apply and sustain change over time, because that becomes the most important next step. No matter the size of your organization, you need a culture change that is scalable across your entire workforce and that is so effective that it's not only understood, it is applied, it is found relevant, and it is supported ongoing. It allows you to interview and hire and onboard new employees into a very specific type of culture. And so that they are there to support one another in using what's learned. And that's when you really have an effective and consistent set of concepts, tools, terms, and processes. Thank you so much for taking a look at our work.
Email us today for your free consult.